You know, the biggest hesitation is always when you move into a market, other than building up your team and your systems to make sure you can operate the same way you are in the new market as the market that you're currently in, is probably rents. You want to be able to understand when you get into a new market what kind of rents you can achieve, what kind of other income can you be able to put into it, and then it's all about the NOI. So not only are we looking at the operating income, but in every single market that you enter, there's labor rates, right? There's the cost to be able to get the materials. Like, for example, I was just talking to one of my other directors, and he says that to do all the stone, 200 yards of stone, back to where we are in the Fox Valley, it costs us about $12,000. But here it's going to cost us 20. So the difference is about $8,000 based on the territory that we're in. And that's things that you want to be able to factor in. And those are things that I don't think it necessarily worries you, but you just really, there's question marks and things that you can do as much due diligence as possible. But until you actually get there and start running the property and looking at the material and the labor rates, sizing up what you can get for rent, you don't really know for sure. Even if you look at comparables, because I would argue that our rehabs and the way we run our properties, there isn't comparables. We're doing things that nobody else is doing. So that leads us to make some guesses on where we could possibly achieve. But until you actually get that rent, get that monthly NOI statement, that's when it moves from a guess to a fact. Anything else you would say there?
What he said. No, I think it, for me, obviously, is rent. So you take over a property like this in a new market, largely every unit here rents as is higher than our primary footprint in the Fox Valley. So that's great, but it doesn't really provide us kind of the insight that we need to know how hard we can push at that figure. So it's nice to see that, but then when I talk to my team, they're like, oh, those are going to be 1,800. Well, it's all relative. Things are more expensive in a market like Madison, but there's also more demand. The biggest unknowns that kind of scare you with Madison, it's close enough where you have a pretty good gauge of what the kind of the surrounding areas are. But when you look to go expand into territories where you don't really even know, like schools, the job industry, things of that nature, is there enough demand there long term to be able to drive what we look to drive with every new takeover?